Hi there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. Welcome to episode 59 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. This is, of course, the weekly series where I answer your questions in the comment section below. So if you do happen to have a question for next week's episode, which will be episode 60, then please leave that question in the comment section. We have another jam-packed episode this week, and we also have a Christmas present to open up from a fan of the channel called Brendan. So there's a card there and a gift, and I believe there is a gift in there for myself and for Little Bossk as well. So I will have Little Bossk with me to open it up. So if you do happen to enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, and of course beware of any spoilers if you haven't seen the finale of The Mandalorian, because we will be talking about The Mandalorian at some point in this video. So if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, please come back to this video at a later date. And with all that being said, let's get on to the first question. And the first question is from The Viking. And he says, "Hey Bossk and Little Bossk, love the show and I've been looking for a good Bossk. I have a 5 POA and want to get the better one. Which one would you recommend?" So for me, the best Bossk is this one here. He is the Vintage Saga Collection Bossk from 2006, 2007. He was also released in the Saga Legends line, and that figure used to be the cheaper way of getting him, but I do believe that that figure is just expensive now. And to get that figure, you're going to be looking at about $30 these days, I would think, £30 in the UK. But that is the best Bossk, super articulated, great features, and yeah, features in all of my videos. He is the best Bossk. A Kirby MSIB says, "Hey Bossk, question for next week. With Bo-Katan going up for pre-order, what other characters' figures do you think Hasbro will announce next for the Mandalorian series, and how far do you think the wave will grow? It's quickly becoming the biggest wave of the new box art figures." So yeah, you're talking about the Black series there, and yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they're up to 9 or 10 now. I can see it growing even further. There's definitely the Bill Burr character, which is called Mayfeld in the show, I believe. He has had a scan done on his face and body for an action figure, so you can bet your bottom dollar that'll be for the Black series. And then, of course, I've got no doubt in my mind that Fennec Shand will be a figure in the Black series, and hopefully the Vintage Collection as well at some point. But yeah, the Mandalorian is hot right now. It's the thing that they're centering on, and it's just going to grow. So I have a question from Little Bossk, and it says, "Hi Big Bossk, Little Bossk here. I have a question for you. Which figure from The Mandalorian is your favourite?" Well, Little Bossk, I've got them all out in front of me here, and it's very, very difficult to pick one favourite out of all of those. Some of them are new and fresh, some of them we've had for almost a year, but if I had to pick right now, I would probably say it's one of these two. It's either got to be the main bad guy or the main good guy. This one obviously is an exceptional figure with the head swap, and it comes with the child. And of course, Moff Gideon, what a brilliant figure that is. But it's very difficult to pick, but I'd like to know your favourite in a future video. JLoz5 says, "I like watching these videos. My question for next week is this. Did you know that Bossk is actually in Return of the Jedi in the Jabba the Hutt scenes?" I did know that. Yep, he is on the barge. You can see him very, very quickly in just a couple of scenes before it gets blown up. And as we saw with Bib Fortuna, I'm in the mindset that Bossk jumped off the Bossk before it blew, and we're going to see him at some point in some future series, hopefully The Mandalorian. John Sanders says, "Hi Tim, Merry Christmas to all the Bosks. Are you still collecting the D'Agostini X-Wing, and if so, how far have you got? And did you get the Falcon?" I didn't get the Falcon, and yes, I am still collecting the X-Wing. I just haven't had the chance to carry on building it. I must have like 30 issues of that to build now, but I will make a video, one big long video of those 30 issues. At the moment, I've got like part of one wing and part of the sort of cockpit and the fuselage, but apart from that, it's looking very, very bare. But yeah, I've got so many issues to build yet, and I will make a video of it, I promise. Grandmaster Yoda says, "Great video as always. My question for next week is, will you make a Discord server for this channel? I think this would be great fun." To be honest, I haven't got the sort of technical know-how to make a Discord server. I find the whole thing very, very confusing. However, I do belong to a number of Discord servers, and I'm affiliated with one in particular, and the link to that is in the description below. And on that particular Discord server, I do have like my own channel where everyone can sort of follow me and talk to me and whatever. So if you're on Discord, use the link in the description below and I'll see you in there. Jago Robbins says, "Question for next week. Do you think we'll ever see Grogu again?" I think we will. I think, to be honest, it'll be mad for Disney not to have Grogu in The Mandalorian, particularly again. We're definitely getting a third series of The Mandalorian, and for that not to have Grogu in it, I think a lot of people might be upset about that. I think The Mandalorian, a lot of it, especially for the younger audience, Grogu is a big pull. Maybe we'll see him trained up a little bit and being able to wield the Force a bit more. I think that'd be pretty cool. You know, he could actually help the Mandalorian in certain situations like he's done before, but in an even better way. So I look forward to that. I hope they do it again. But then again, I don't think the Mandalorian was kind of being propped up by the child or anything. I think it could stand on its own 2 feet, but it would be good to see him in it again. Aidan Loftus says, "Hey Bossk, have you ever thought about buying any Hot Toys? I got the original armour Mando and I'm now scared I'm creeping into a new rabbit hole." So rabbit hole is exactly the point in case here. I don't want to buy one because I know that I will just fall in love with them and buy lots of them, and they are so expensive. I prefer the 3.75 inch scale figures, and I think that's where I'm going to stay. And to be honest, the detail on these, if you look at these new ones, is fantastic, and that's enough for me. All right, now, so we've got a bunch of questions coming up all about The Mandalorian. So I did say if there's any people that haven't seen any of the episodes really, but especially the final one, then, you know, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about that now, because a lot of the questions, 3 or 4 of the next questions sort of are to do with The Mandalorian itself. And as you can see, I have many of the figures that we have that have either come out on the Mandalorian card backs or that have been featured in the Mandalorian that exist in the vintage collection that can be used as part of like dioramas and stuff. That's why I've got this little setup here. I think it looks pretty cool. But we're going to get on to the first question about the Mandalorian specifically. Patreon supporter Anthony Robinson says, "Hey Bossk, late question this, but I like to leave it until after the weekly Mando fix. 2-part question. Part 1, how do you feel for the addition of the one and only Luke Skywalker in the last episode of the Mando?" Well, last week's episode of Ask Bossk Bounty, I was asked who I thought the Jedi was going to be, and I said then that I hoped that it would be Luke. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think they did it really, really well. The CGI was slightly on the dodgy side. I think they could have done that better with all the deep fake technology that's out there. I think the route that they went down, possibly they could have done it better. Just that's all I'm saying. But it still looked great. And when Luke turned up, man, it was just a dream come true. It was amazing to see in his full power. I just don't think you can get any better than that. Part 2, do you think we'll have a Mando Luke Skywalker in the vintage collection? Should be an easy kit bash of VC23 and VC175. Great content as always. That's a difficult one to say because I personally feel, obviously this one's only just come out really, the back end of 2020. I know it is a repack from the 3-pack which was in last year, but it's a decent Luke Skywalker. It doesn't fit 100% to the Mandalorian. You're absolutely right. He has kind of a mixture of outfits of VC23 and VC175. I'm not sure if they'll give us it that quickly, but I'm more than happy with this figure. I think it's a great figure, and you can easily just pretend that this is the Luke from the Mandalorian. Blake Batcho says, "What are your thoughts on Mando Mondays as a whole? Personally, as a TVC collector, I was disappointed. They still haven't caught up with Season 1 characters, and they didn't even try to give us any Season 2 standouts. I thought that the point of this format was to be able to give us what we were watching, or at least open pre-orders for them, while also avoiding spoilers." Yeah, I have got to say, overall, I'm probably a bit disappointed with Mando Mondays, but what I would say is that Mando Mondays isn't a Hasbro thing necessarily. There's loads of different companies that are revealing stuff throughout Mando Mondays. Funko Pops is one, for example. You know, you've got games, plushies, loads of different stuff that's coming out on Mando Mondays. The Black Series has done better, but that's natural. You know, I think that's naturally the case. But the reason I've got these figures out in front of us here is because if you look at what we actually did get in 2020, I don't think we've done too badly. If you think about what we've got for the Mandalorian specifically, we've got these ones here, which have been released under the Mandalorian banner. You've got this vehicle, the Troop Transport. You've got the AT-ST, which came with the Raider here. Then you've got a few figures here which have been released, like the Luke and obviously the Rogue One Stormtrooper. They can be used in the Mandalorian. We got the Slave 1 this year, which is obviously in the Mandalorian as well. So all in all, I don't think we've done too badly. Would I want more? Of course I would love more. I think 2 figures are massively missing from this lineup, and that's the IG-11 and the Queel figure. I'm very, very surprised we haven't had those at least revealed. You know, we've got Grief Karga to look forward to from Season 2 next next year. But we've still got one more Mando Monday to come tomorrow. Let's hope for some reveals, but if we don't get any, I don't think it's a case that Hasbro aren't working on anything. I'm pretty sure we're going to get loads of characters from The Mandalorian at some point. It's just a case of we just got to wait for them to be revealed. I think they've got this model now where they're revealing things drip fed rather than us knowing kind of what's coming for the whole year. It's just a way of building up the excitement, and it's not something I like. I'd prefer to kind of know what's coming, or at least an outline of what's coming. But so at the beginning of the year, I was very worried about the vintage collection, you know, what was to come. But looking at the lineup that I've got in front of me here, I'm actually reasonably pleased. But of course, we could always want more. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The Mando Mondays were kind of sold to us that we were going to find out loads of stuff maybe from season 2, but because obviously it was running while season 2 was happening. But you know, obviously that hasn't happened. But Black Series has got Bo-Katan to look forward to and a few others. But yeah, I hope we get more in the very near future. Bill Polk says, I found that once a character has been in 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, I want a figure of him or her. How about you, Tim? I'm with you there, Bill. I think one of the characters that I'm looking forward to the most is Fennec Shand. I think, you know, she was just awesome in the programme. Can't wait for that. I'd love a figure of Bill Burr's character, Mayfeld. Would love a figure of that character. But yeah, there's just so many, isn't there now? It's just such a successful series, and every week, you know, I go, oh, that'll be as good as a figure. That'll be as good as a figure. So yeah, I'm with you there, Bill. Alex Valdez says it's a great time to be a collector. My question, I know we have just had the Slave One re-release this year, but given the return of Boba Fett, do you think we'll get another Slave One release with a Mandalorian Vintage Collection box? I can't see that happening. To be honest, a lot of people kicked off when they re-released the Slave One as it was, with how much it was and everything. And now those same people are saying how amazing it is because now it's in the Mandalorian. You know, let's face it, we all complain about Hasbro, but they kind of really do know what they're doing. If you look at the timing for this figure here, when he came out on a single card, if you look at the timing for the Slave One this year, you know, they didn't just release the Slave One because it happened to be the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. They knew it was going to be in this series. So, but to release it again so soon in a Mandalorian box, I can't see that happening. Perhaps for the Book of Fett, when that comes out as a series by itself, maybe the end of next year or further on into 2022, possibly with a different paint scheme or something. I don't know, but I can't see them just putting it into a Mandalorian box and then saying, there you go, have this again. Aped3 says, what Vintage Collection 3-pack do we need for the May the 4th 2021? Well, I've said this before, I think, in a previous video. The 3-pack that I would love to see is a Bo-Katan, and the other two, I don't know their names right at this point in time. I should know the female character. She's been in a couple of episodes now, but I'm sure somebody in the comments will be able to tell me the names of the other two. But Bo-Katan and the other two, I think that would be an amazing 3-pack. And then, of course, we could get them on single cards as we go along. Duloc Shaman says, great video. My question for next week is, which Mandalorian Boba Fett would you want in the Vintage Collection? The Desert Nomad, old painted armour, or new painted armour? I can't remember whether I've answered this question in a previous video. I know I've talked about it at some point, but I would love for them to do something like they did with this guy and give us like a build-up pack where you get the Nomad Fett and then some clip-on armour. So you could either have the old painted armour or the new painted armour. I don't think they'll do that. They'll probably just give us the old painted armour and then repack him with the painted armour. But if they did that, I'm pretty sure everyone will be happy anyway. So I think we'll get a Fett of some description on a Mandalorian card, and then we'll just have to wait and see which one. Alright then, so just a break from the questions quickly to open the Christmas present sent by fan of the channel, Brendan Draper. He is in the UK, and I think this is a card and this is a present, and he said on Instagram that there's something for me and Little Bossk in here, so I'm going to let Little Bossk open it, but we're going to open up the card first of all. So let's just open this. So first off, we've got Bossk. Here we go. Oh wow, that's awesome. Look at that. It's like a 3D Bossk. Merry Boskmas. Thank you, Brendan. That's awesome. I'm going to keep that. That's so cool. To Boss Bounty, thanks for all the great content. Merry Boskmas. So that's for me, and Little Bossk has a card. So do you want to open this one?
Yeah.
Go on then. Don't forget to show everyone what it looks like on the camera.
A porg.
A porg, and it says, Merry Boskmas. And it's like a 3D porg as well. So we open that. Two little Bossk. Merry Boskmas from Brendan. That's awesome. You're going to keep that?
Yeah.
And what do you say?
Thank you.
Oh, that's really nice of you, Brendan. Thank you very much. And we do have a Christmas gift as well. So here it is. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can get it all in, and little Bossk is going to open it up. Right, we haven't got too much room, so I'm going to have to hold the camera like this. Do you want to open it then, little Bossk?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got a note there, yeah? Okay, let's have a read of the note. Dear Bossk and little Bossk, I love all your videos and you do a great job. You're my go-to vintage series reviews. Very good review and trustworthy. Thank you, Brendan. I love your Q&As on Sunday and your opening old figures. I've loved Star Wars since I watched Jedi on TV in 85, 86. Love my few vintage items I had from boot sales. Only ever vintage carded I got was Leia Boosh in a cheap shop in the late 80s. Only time I ever saw one. I got back into Star Wars collecting in 95, but sadly sold my collection in 2006 when out of work. I restarted when Legacy started hitting the places like Tesco, etc., and haven't stopped since. Thanks for all you do in the community. Please find enclosed some flips to share with little Bossk. I know the one you want. The books might interest little Bossk, as might the pop. Just a token to say Merry Boskmas. All the best, Brendan. Thank you so much, Brendan. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's have a look. Do you want to have a look through there? So this, what's that book? Oh, looks cool. Vader's Little Princess. So that'd be a good little book to read, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so put that down there. What's that?
Another book.
A mini book, Princess Leia. That's cool. Oh wow, you can read that. That's awesome. 1997. Princess Leia, that's cool. What else you got in there? Ah, flips. Okay, right. We're going to have a look at those in a second. And a pop. So here you go, little Bossk. There you go. You've got a Rose Tico pop. What do you say?
Thank you.
Awesome. I think that's your second pop now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to start the... we don't want to go down the road of collecting those too much because you'll end up with a wall of pops. But thank you so much, Brendan. Let's have a look at these flips because these are cool. So are these the things that you've got then?
Yeah.
You collect these already, don't you?
Yeah.
That's awesome then. Go on, let's see what you've got. Take a load out. Show you, and then you can show the viewers at home what they are. Right, hold them up to the camera, one by one. Let's get in the light, shall we? So what are those then?
They're like coins, and you can get this cube and you can put them in the slots.
Oh, right, okay. So it's is it a game?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Yeah, I've seen you have some of those before, so that's cool. Star Wars flips. Let me know in the comments down below if you collect these Star Wars flips or if your kids do or whatever. But thank you so much, Brendan. That's a whole bunch of them there for his collection because I do know that he does have a few of those, don't you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, you won't need any more of those. You got a whole bunch. Awesome. Thank you very much, Brendan. Do appreciate it, my friend, and Merry Christmas to you as well. GeForce Racing 20 says, at Bossk's Bounty, love the show. 2-part question. Why don't you ever answer my questions? He's just kidding. Seriously, who is the most powerful Force user and why? Well, Disney will have you believe that it's Rey Skywalker. She can do everything without any training. And as Luke says, you know, the Force is nothing without training. I can't remember if that's exactly the way he said it, but he said you need training. And I think Ahsoka said that in the Mandalorian as well. But I'm not hitting on the sequel trilogy here. I'm just joking. But I don't know. I always thought it was Anakin. Maybe he's got the biggest M count, hasn't he? Or maybe it's the child now. But one of them two, I'd imagine. Stephen Angel says, question for next week. Hop into a DeLorean real quick for this one. Where were you when you saw the prequel films? What sorts of things were going on for you at the time? And also a side note, I just want to say I've noticed the overall improvement in your videos, including clips, images, captions, and your confidence and groove. I'm really loving it, man. Cheers, Stephen. I do appreciate the comments there. Thank you very much. Yep, I do try to improve as I go on. Yep, some of my early videos are cringe, but I think that's the same for everybody. But in terms of the prequel films, what's that, 1999, I remember being at one of my first jobs. I was kind of like in my early 20s. I had a good friend working with me at the time who was really into Star Wars as well. And I remember us watching the trailers for all of the prequels and stuff. So that's what sticks out for me. Early 20s, watching the trailers, you know, just as excited as I was when I was a kid that Star Wars was back. Walter Azubel says, "Hi Tim, my question is, do you think that Hasbro is going to revisit the Vintage Collection Revan at some point?" I think they will, and I've heard a little sneaky rumour that it could be as early as next year that we see a Vintage Collection Revan. Don't hold me to that though. This isn't a strong rumour like when I found out about the Millennium Falcon. Take this one with a pinch of salt maybe, but I did hear a little rumour that possibly next year we might see Revan. Mason Edwardson says, "My question for next week is, do you think they will make more X-Wing pilots in the future?" 100% they will make more X-Wing pilots, especially with the, is it Rogue Squadron? Is that what they're calling it? Is that a film or a series? I think that one's a film. No doubt we'll get pilots for that. But before anything, we need Blue Leader from Rogue One as a pilot in the Vintage Collection. And maybe we'll get that with the 5th anniversary of Rogue One. Alright then guys, thank you very much for watching. That was the final question. Don't forget to drop a like down below if you've enjoyed the video. And if you don't watch another one of my videos before Christmas, I wanted to wish all of my subscribers and anyone else watching the videos a Merry Christmas. I hope you get everything that you want. Lots of Star Wars goodies in your Santa's sacks. And have a Happy New Year as well. But don't worry, I will be making videos over the holiday season. So just wanted to put that out there in case this is the last video you watch before Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.